If you looked at the HBAR price chart today, you would probably not even guess that August was a huge month for HBAR because, again, price action didn't show that. However, it was a very big month for HBAR, and it seems as though a lot of these announcements are now starting to become much bigger than before. And I've been talking about this for a bit of time now, just kind of addressing the scope of some of these announcements, like the one recently around tokenization. It was with the FX market in the UK, which is like $5+ trillion per day. I mean, these markets that we are disrupting utilizing this type of technology are absolutely massive. And when we think about that compared to the market cap in which these projects have, currently, you can kind of see the big picture here. Remember, when we are purchasing HBAR, we are purchasing, specific power in the underlying network. And what I mean by that is, depending on how much percentage of the supply of HBAR that you hold compared to the large scope of the 50 billion out there, that percentage is the percentage that you own in the Hedera network. So what's good for Hedera's network and for the adoption and all that kind of stuff happening around the Hedera network, well, guess what? That means that's very good for your investment because you control that percentage of the network itself. This is what I always say about, buying these types of projects. You're not just buying HBAR, the gas token, right? You're buying HBAR, the gas token that powers this massive network of some of the largest use cases out there in the world that will be hitting the real world in the coming, months and years ahead. Because again, we could already see that crypto is being adopted heavily in the US. We just tapped into blockchain for financial data. So this is starting. It's here. But again, the main thing that we're looking at is the price chart. And everyone's looking at the price chart and they're saying, well, HBAR is selling off. HBAR is down to 22.5 cents. And, this is not really reflecting all of this big news. But again, what I've said over the last couple weeks is all of this stuff that's happening is the same exact thing that was happening back in, this time of the market, right? This is around roughly the summer of 2024 leading into the fall. And then boom, HBAR skyrocketed to 40 cents. It did a 10x push off the lows almost. And everyone was asking me, Nick, why is HBAR pumping right now? Why is XRP pumping right now? Well, go back and look at what was announced back in 2024. Now go and look back at what's been announced so far this year for some of these projects like Hedera. That's why I keep saying that this next wave on the price chart is going to make this move back in October and November and December look so small on the chart compared to where we are going. Now, let's talk about August because Hedera recently just put out a great highlight newsletter regarding all of the moves made in August. So we have here, August was huge for Hedera and the ecosystem. Real-time security upgrades, major ecosystem growth, award wins, LFD or LF decentralized milestones, and massive hackathons. Let's dive into the latest Hedera highlights. So right off the rip, Hedera's headed to Cebos. This is a huge event hosted by Swift. They are going to be exploring stablecoins, tokenization, AI, and HashSpear, the private permission network powered by Hedera Tech. Book a one-to-one meeting with Hedera ecosystem leaders now. Then also, Blockade and Hedera real-time Web3 security. Blockade, the Web3 security leader, integrates with Hedera to stop scams before they happen. First live on Hashpack app, delivering proactive DApp and token scanning for users. Then we also have ecosystem growth institutions go all in with Hedera Foundation. Now, they do have DFNS HQ, integrated Hedera for institutional DeFi, AI, and asset tokenization. Kaio, XYZ added RWA funds, BlackRock, Brevin Howard, and Laser Digital. Then we also have Swarm Markets brings tokenized stocks like Apple, Tesla, and gold to Hedera as well. There was so much happening within the Hedera ecosystem in just August alone. Like, think about how crazy this is. This isn't like, this happened over the last couple months. No, this is just in one single month. Then we also have Asset Tokenization Studio wins big. They won the Tech Forward Award for DeFi and crypto innovation at Silicon Angles event. So this was definitely a big one. On top of that, Hiero, however you guys want to pronounce it, it did graduate as the first project under the LF decentralized new project framework. this is a big one. I want to go over it here in a second as well, just to kind of show you guys why it's a huge deal. But last but not least, we do have hackathons, $1.55 million plus in prizes. Hello Future Origins Hackathon AI DeFi Sustainability wrapped August 8th, and then also Hedera Africa Hackathon, $1 million prize pool, 20 plus cities, and runs until September 30th. So again, what an incredible month for Hedera. I mean, guys, we are starting to see the months get pretty big for Hedera. We're starting to see more and more announcements, more and more growth, and things are just not slowing down. Price action might be slowing down because we're not tied back to these news announcements, right? We're tied back to what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. But we will start to see that decoupling event where altcoins just go on their own massive tear. And I do think that once we start to see that for HBAR, I'm telling you guys, I know that it sounds like I'm selling you a used car, but buckle up and prepare, because HBAR is going to skyrocket once we see that decoupling event. And yes, I do assume that that will be happening here soon, probably over the next 2 months. But beyond that, we also have that big announcement, and I want to go over this because this is the graduation announcement of Hiero. I call it Hiero, just to be honest with you guys, so I'm just going to call it Hiero going forward. But this is definitely a big update considering the fact that we know that Hiero is a big piece of the Hedera ecosystem. We've talked about it on multiple occasions. This is the announcement. So Hiero graduates as the first project under the Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust umbrella and its new project lifecycle framework. So this was the first major project under this, and we could see the background information on project lifecycle. The term project within LF Decentralized Trust refers to a collaborative endeavor to deliver a work item. A project lifecycle is a structured phase framework that guides a project from its initial idea through completion, breaking it down into manageable stages for planning, execution, and control to achieve successful outcomes. Now, this is a year of milestones. So since its launch in September of last year, Hiero has grown into a thriving vendor-neutral project. We have in June of this year, open elections expanded the technical steering committee with a few people that got added into the ecosystem. On top of that, we also have expanding participation, nearly 800 contributors from 80 plus organizations and 50 plus adopters are actively shaping Hiero. So this is very exciting to see, and we can see some of the organizations here. So Hashgraph, obviously, LimeChain, Unknown, DevLabs, Linux, independent contributors as well. There's so many big names here, but Accenture is also a big player tied to this. Galaxy, another great name. Red Hat as well. I mean, guys, these are some pretty big names, and I love to see this. I think that this is incredible, and they do highlight a lot of the real world adoption and why the graduation matters as well. So this actually confirms that Hiero has achieved LFDT's highest standards for neutral governance, production readiness, which, it's been, ready for, enterprise grade deployments since February of this year. Also security and compliance, growing adoption, all these things go hand in hand with this graduation. So we love to see this. And again, the main thing that we're looking at here is the LF Decentralized Trust. Look at all the names tied to this. I mean, you have the DTCC here, Hitachi, Accenture, American Express, T-Mobile. I mean, you have so many big blue chip names that almost every single retail investor should know. I mean, these are household names in the real world. And Hedera is tied back to this organization. It's crazy to see this. And again, it also puts a spotlight on just how big of a name Hedera is when we look at some of these organizations that they are a part of, especially with, things like Hiero. And Hiero definitely is a big piece of the Hedera ecosystem that we need to focus on because they have been making some very strong moves with this. Outside of that, though, DeFi. So we just got the big audit from SushiSwap, and this regards the mobile app. I am so excited for this. I think that this is going to change the game. I think that this is going to really... I really do think that these mobile UI facing apps, and I said this even with Galaxy as well, they are the gateway. They are the gateway to mass adoption. And the fact that this is coming from Hedera's #1 DEX is very bullish. because we already know how successful SaucerSwap has been for the Hedera ecosystem, and I think that this is going to be extremely bullish as well. And the fact that the audit is now complete tells us that we are so close to having this fully launched. I do think that we will probably see this launch by the end of the quarter, so definitely keep a close eye on SaucerSwap for any major update, but I'm very excited for this. On top of that, though, we also just witnessed another big launch, which was Orbit. So Hedera's fastest all-in-one DeFi trading platform, Trade in Orbit, is now live on the mainnet. I'm extremely excited about this because it looks incredible. This is what it looks like. And this is the platform. I mean, it's straightforward, very simple, very clean. I love to see it. And we have here, this is from a Trade in Orbit builder. So this is Weston, and we have one of my favorite Trade in Orbit features is the instant buy. Just toggle it on, set your default HBAR amount, and execute. No pop-ups, no friction. This is very exciting to see. Again, a lot of these announcements, a lot of these launches that are on Hedera are changing the game around specific markets, even markets that are more developed around crypto, like DeFi. I love this for the Hedera ecosystem. I love it for the DeFi side of Hedera as well, because again, if we're thinking about the DeFi market right now for Hedera, you know, we're sitting at about $115 million in total value locked. More protocol launches like Trade in Orbit are only going to surge the value on Hedera more and more. I do think that we will get back to that all-time high back in 2025. I'm definitely watching that. But you know, these launches unlock more capital. And I do think that with SaucerSwap launching their mobile-facing app, I think that this is also going to unlock a ton of money for the DeFi market because they are number 2 on the list. They have a significant amount of money tied to them. They used to have the column here. I think I switched it off by an accident. So yeah, SaucerSwap has about $79 million tied to them. So I do see this growing substantially over the coming weeks and months ahead, especially once we do see that launch. Stablecoins on Hedera are also up about 82% in the last 7 days. We're at $128 million almost. And we can see how much this has grown just in the last day. I mean, we were at 71 million compared to 127 million. And this happened in just one single day. So, you know, DeFi growth, stablecoin growth is starting to grow in a big way. And the months are getting bigger for Hedera in terms of a lot of these announcements. I'm very excited to see what happens next here because, again, we're starting to see some of these older announcements like Hiero, for an example, starting to become more developed out, starting to become, you know, more spotlighted. We're starting to see it, you know, really just be adopted and tapped in. And we could see that just from this announcement alone. We could see all of the names tied to this. We could see all of the players tapping in. And again, I just love to see this type of adoption. It shows us and it confirms that things are happening in the back end, right? Which we don't really see all that much. We don't really see the announcements of these companies saying, oh, hey, guess what? We're using Hiero. But when you look at these reports, you can see that. So I love to see that. And yeah, just going forward, I really do think that the price of HBAR will soon catch up to all of these announcements, which is why I always say, like, fundamentals might not change the price immediately, but they do support it once we start to see the moves happen, because then you all of a sudden have a lot of new users saying, oh, wow, this is big. And they post it on socials. It starts to expand, it starts to grow, and it starts to get more exposure, which leads to more exposure for HBAR. So all of these fundamental announcements, they might not seem like they're, you know, huge right now because price action's not there, but they will support it. They are pressure behind the scene on the chart. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.